What is up, everybody? Happy Monday. It is Christmas week. Welcome to Two in the Zone. You have the greatest of all time, Dead Prez picks, myself, AC. Dead Prez, how was your weekend, my guy?
Good, brother. Good, good. Had another winning week. Now 6 of our last 7, AC. So we've been rolling, trying to keep it up today, and can't wait to get to some NBA picks. How about you?
Dang, it was a good weekend for me. Winning day Saturday and Sunday after a slow start to the week. So that was good. Hopefully, we continue that into this week. But shout out to Seven Stacks Sports. Everybody, give them a follow right now at Seven Stacks Sports on Twitter. They're one of the best, if not the best, Twitter books out there. Dead and I have been working for them for a long time. And the people that are over there just are really nice. They have amazing customer service. um, because of us, they've kind of reduced all of their lines, their juice on NFL and NBA plays from 110 to 105. So that adds up a lot if you're betting a ton. They have odds boost basically every major game of every night. I'm sure they'll have odds boost for the Monday night game tonight, probably for the Tuesday night games tomorrow. So definitely check them out. They also do, same day payouts, which is a big thing right now. You're seeing a lot of other Twitter books kind of tout their big amounts and stuff. That's not what Seven Stacks does. He kind of just focuses on his customer base, his customer service. But they do same day payouts if you're using cryptocurrency. So give them a shout. If you want to get set up, let them know that either myself or Dead sent you, and he'll hook you up with some promos. All right, let's get into some of last night's games here. I do have the graphic. Bang, there it is. Last night's games. Okay. Okay, first one we'll get into will be the Blazers Grizzlies. The Blazers quietly are playing a little better in the last week or so. They beat the Grizzlies 105 to 100 on the road. Grizzlies, as everybody knows, have been on fire without Ja Morant, but I don't know about you, Dad. Like, I think there's regression coming. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no doubt about that, AC. I think they're going to start to regress. Got to remember, they are 7 games over 500 at this stage in the season. They've had a really strong season, and they continue to just win, right? They beat the Blazers in Portland back on the 15th, so it was a little bit of a revenge spot there for Portland, who now is back to 5 games under 500. I think they're just trying to survive maybe until they can get back to their full roster or maybe make a move. We know CJ McCollum's name's been swung out there. Dame has been outspoken. He wants to play with guys who can defend, two-way players. But big game from Dame last night. I mean, he's got to turn it around eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said before, seems a little bit disinterested at times this season. But we know how good of a player he is, and when he's right, he's a top 10 player in the league. But big game also for Norman Powell. They see 28 points, 5 for 8 from 3. So pretty complete effort there. They went to a short rotation, 7-man rotation. So, Chauncey Billups kept their rotation short, knowing that they really needed this game. They're going to need a lot of games moving forward, knowing that they had a day of rest yesterday, kind of emptying the tank. But a good win there for Blazers. Good come from behind win and fourth quarter. So big win for them. But I agree. I think the Grizz, it might be a spot to start fading them this Christmas week.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it. The Blazers are 5 games under 500. I think they need to blow it up, man. Like, I think Dame has given Chauncey and this new kind of leadership 2 months now to kind of test it out. And I know Dame hasn't been Dame time, but they're 5 games below 500. They're never going to contend with that roster. So they need to either blow it up or send him out for the future, like mortgage and get into the future. All right, let's get into this game really quickly. We don't have to touch base on it that much, but the Kings are actually really good now without Luke Walton. They won again last night, 121-114. We can talk about the Kings, but for me, I think the Spurs are a quietly over team. I don't think people are talking about that much. I think they play really good offense, and they have a horrible defense. So if you're looking at spots in the NBA, I kind of like Spurs games overs. But as far as the Kings, Dad, like, how do you feel about them moving forward?
Impressive win, to say the least. Obviously, no De'Aaron Fox in that game. While Alex Len isn't a world beater, he gives them more rim protection than these other guys can. But big game from Buddy Hield, a guy who got a start, right? He got 40 minutes, and he did what we know he could do. He could score the basketball. 29 for him, 7 of 9 from 3, so extremely efficient shooting. Tyrese Haliburton was great as well. Issue though, like you're kind of alluding to with the Spurs, they see their rim protection is brutal, right? It's Jakob Pertl on the inside. Jock Landale was getting some minutes in that game. For the people who follow me closely, know I'm really into the NBL, the Australian Professional League. He was the best player in that league last season, so he could play. But at the NBA level, obviously, it's a different animal. Defensively, they're not good enough because they're not big enough, right? That you look at their starting lineup, undersized in the paint. But good point, AC. Possibly a team to continue to look at for overs, but maybe the Kings at this stage in the season, the Western Conference is wide open, and we know that as far as the playoffs are concerned, not to win it. We know that with the expansion of it, currently, if the season ended today, see the Kings would be in a playing game. So they've had a horrible season, but they're able to put themselves into position possibly to make the playoffs. But yeah, they've been hot since the coaching change.
All right, in this next game here, I kind of want to. This is a good example of a team covering the original line and then not covering the tip-off line. So the Bulls were actually 4.5-point favorites against the Lakers. It steamed all the way up to 7 points, and they won by 5. So they covered that original line, did not cover the late line. Shout out to DeMar DeRozan here. He's by far the best fourth quarter player in the NBA right now. He's averaging over 8 points in the fourth, shooting over 54% from the field and 91% from the free throw line. So he is the closer in the NBA for 2022. It kind of reminds me of Isaiah Thomas when he was on the Boston Celtics for that 1 year where he just hit all those game winners. That's what DeMar DeRozan is doing for the Bulls right now, putting that team on his back. The Lakers are going to be without AD for at least a month. Are you worried if you were a Lakers fan?
I've been worried all season about the Lakers. They say, coming into the year, I said they have a bunch of dinosaurs on that team. They're old, right? It's going to catch up to them, I think. And this season, more than any other season, you need to be deep, right, to win because the COVID protocols we've seen this season, the teams who have depth, they're the teams who are staying, above the water and surviving this. It's going to be a weird year, right? We're seeing games postponed. We're seeing games being played with guys up from the G League. With the NBA put in a rule yesterday about, expanding rosters to be able to sign more guys. So, I mean, I think it's two things. The Bulls are a really good team, and, you and I both had them to make the playoffs, their win total. So we love what's going on in the Windy City. But
I never say it, but is that a lock?
Yeah, it's a lock, yeah.
Okay, I like it. I like it.
that one cashed in early. But, yeah, I mean, man, the Lakers – and, we talked about it before, Anthony Davis, but now he's going to be out for a month. And the thing with Davis was he, in my opinion, a lot of people were pointing fingers at Russell Westbrook. I think he was the issue.
Dude, it's his worst year of his career.
He's not playing well. And this is his prime, right? We expect a little bit of a fall off from LeBron. Although I'm not saying he's fallen off this season, but you could justify that. Davis, it's inexcusable. And, the injury history for him continues to be an issue.
Yeah, I agree. All right, one final game here. The Suns, they scored 137 points. They were on pace to score like 160 in this game. The Hornets actually have most of their guys back. LaMelo's back.
Yeah, they're getting
Bridges, Hayward. All these guys are back, and they gave up 137 to the Suns. A notable return here is Devin Booker is also back for the Suns. They haven't really lost a step. Now they get their best player back. Like, how do the Suns, like, do you even see the Suns losing?
They're kind of, I don't want to say they're like that, reminding me of the Jazz, right? Where they're always, because last year they were in the finals. So I'm not going to call them that. But I don't think they're going to win the finals. I still think the Warriors, because the Warriors, they're doing this without Clay and Wiseman, right? So, Booker has been there most of the time. I think they're the second best team in the West. Of course, they could make it. They could win it. They have that potential. And I think you and I have talked about this a lot. I see Jay Crowder, Miles Bridges. These are the guys who step up or Mikal Bridges, excuse me, I said Miles. They're the guys who step up and make the big difference in these games. So the Suns, again, we're talking about these teams that are deep this year, AC, and have to be able to survive.
One of the deepest, yeah.
They're one of the deepest teams. But the Hornets, I mean, they just don't play defense. Like, I don't know what they do in practice, but I don't think they go over the defensive side of it.
I leaned the Hornets in this game too, and man, I'm lucky I didn't post that play. That would have been really embarrassing. They were down like 50 points by the second quarter. It was
pretty much over. The starters didn't even play the fourth for the Suns. Yeah. That's why JaVale McGee was the leading scorer.
True. All right, man, let's get into tonight's slate. I know that's what everybody's wanting to get into. So everybody That's going to get into tonight. Again, just want to reset the room. We are doing this courtesy of Seven Stack Sports, the best Twitter book on the on Twitter, sponsoring the best NBA show on Twitter. So props to Dead Press, props to Seven Stacks for giving us this opportunity. Please let him know that we sent you if you're going to give him a DM, because he's going to hook you up with some awesome promotions. I know the public's been eating, so definitely try to eat from Seven Stacks too. All right, let's get into tonight, Dad.
All right, AC. Yes, sir. Again, thank you to Seven Stacks. Let's get to the first one. It's my Philadelphia 76ers and the Boston Celtics. This has been a mess of a season with the COVID issues. And, I mean, you look at this game, AC, and it's absurd looking at this injury report. I mean, top to bottom, both teams missing guys. A lot of guys listed day-to-day. So it's tough to call this game at 1:15, right? But Celtics laying 3.5. Both teams identical 15-15 records. What's your thoughts on this?
This one's tough, man. Like you said, COVID protocols is kind of ruining NBA right now. The product, the way that it's being kept, the way that we watch it, because there's like Isaiah Thomas came back and he's scoring like 20 points a game, like he was out of the NBA and playing like pickup games. And now he's back in the NBA scoring 20. So it's hard. Honestly, I think, and this is going to be really chalk of me, Dad, I think every favorite covers tonight, because I think the books are going to be like, they just don't know. Yeah, they don't know who's playing, and they're just going to be like, okay, give me the best starting five of each team, and then that team's going to be favored, and they're going to set the number. So for me, if I were betting, and you know how I bet, I'm usually contrarian. I'm usually on the other side. But I wouldn't be surprised if favorites go 5-0, or 6-0, or 5-1 tonight.
It's a bold take, AC. It's a bold take, but you know what? they might. I mean, I don't know. You know me. I feel like you and I usually are the ones who will go the opposite of what everybody thinks. But maybe tonight it is a favorites night. That Sixers game, it's a tough call. I'm just staying off of it because of like I mentioned, so many guys out of the lineup. Next is the Houston Rockets and the Chicago Bulls. So these are two teams AC and I talk about a lot because we're following their season stats. The Rockets started – I think their team total under is dead, AC. I think we have to –
No, don't say that, man.
I think it's time we get.
They're 10-20. That's so impressive.
Throw the dirt on them, but the weirdest thing with them, I mean, they're just super streaky. Obviously, Bulls are on back-to-back, laying 6.5. Got to watch. Obviously, we know that Jalen Green has been out, and Kevin Porter Jr. Christian Wood, I believe, is set to play tonight. I believe.
Okay. Yeah.
He will be in the lineup. Rockets again coming off of that win over the Pistons, so. Maybe they're hot a little, they're heating up again here. But Bulls laying 6.5. Any concerns for you with the Bulls on a back-to-back?
I would say no, because I still think they are one of the deeper teams in the league. I know they're just like every team right now. They're getting ravaged with COVID and other injuries, but the Rockets are playing well, man. They're 9-4 straight up in their last 13 games. I think getting Christian Wood back is huge. Eric Gordon back is huge. Just having those two guys as, veteran presence for that young team is going to be big for them. But it's hard to fade Chicago at home. Chicago is just the deeper team, the better coach team, and just more talent. At home, they're covering the spread. They're 8-5 ATS and 17-11 overall. So they are a really good against the spread team. I think the line here, Dad, the line here looks like it's a Houston play, but I can't do it, man. I think it's tough, right? You and I both love the value when it comes to underdogs, and I think this is like, I'm not going to bet this game, but if I was, it'd probably be a Houston play, but I don't know. It's hard, man. Like I said, I think it's a chalk night in the NBA. Yeah. I think it's chalk NBA, sharp NFL.
I am on the Bulls under here, AC, at 223. Again, with the Jalen Green news, I think their scoring, should fall off a little bit in this game. And I think the Bulls are a really good defensive team. So I think they're able to keep this number under in this game tonight. And I think the Bulls, will be, they can get really happy. They're not a super high scoring team. Sometimes if they're growing into teams like this. So I'm going to go with the under here, AC. But again, it is a tough call. We want to shout out our boy here, Grant Albert, AC. Back on as he is every episode.
That's our boy, man. That is our boy.
He said today, COVID's so bad, I don't even have a clue what to ask. So just solely ears. So he's right. Betting the NBA, it is really tough right now because it's not even like it's tough to begin with because guys just get ruled out at the last second. But now you're adding the injuries to that, or beg your pardon, COVID to that. So it is like I'm looking at these injury reports, just shaking my head. Obviously, a little difficult to cap at times. But here's a game I love, AC, and this is where your chalk breaks: the Thunder and the Grizzlies. Look, this is a game where I think the Thunder. If we were doing dog of the day, AC, this is my dog of the day to win it outright. I think the Thunder do get it done tonight against the Grizz. Again, we were talking Grizzlies to hit a little bit of regression here. And you got to remember here, Grizz are on a back-to-back tonight. Why are they laying 9 points in this game? Give me your thoughts.
I don't understand why this spread is so wide. Like you said, I mean, no John Morant, no Brandon Clark. Who else is out? No Zaire Williams because of COVID. I think everybody is playing for.
They had no one on the injury report. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Lou Dort, Giddey, Shea is playing. Like I feel like their top three are playing. So I agree with you, right? It's a Thunder play, and honestly, on a neutral court, I would even put these teams kind of even. So the fact that it's a 9-point spread makes me think it's a Grizzlies play dead. I think it's really going to be a chalk day. I love Thunder just like you do. SGA with an awesome game winner in his previous game. Step back three going to his right. Thing of beauty. Potential bounce back spot here for the Grizz, but I'm going to defer to you. If you like the Thunder, I'll like the Thunder too. I actually kind of like the over in this game. I think the Grizzlies just have been kind of a sneaky over team this season. They don't really play great defense. And I think Thunder, with all their guys playing today, I think they'll be able to score. So I kind of lean the over, and then I'll defer to you on the Thunder side. It's a love play for you, huh?
Yeah, it's my favorite one of the day here, AC. I think the 9 they cover pretty easy here. But the line, like, it shouldn't be 9. I feel like even if Ja was playing, they could cover the 9.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, it shouldn't be 9. I agree with that.
All right, AC, 3 games to go. Again, guys, we want to thank our friends at 7 Stack Sports. Give them a follow on Twitter. Big time promotions they're doing weekly, 200% free play bonus for new customers. Make sure you guys do tell them AC and I sent over same day payout, 24/7 customer service, best in the business. All right, AC, 3 to go here. Just talking about these Hornets. 11.5 now. We kind of mentioned, is it too many points? Or this happens every episode with the Jazz. They're always laying these big numbers, but they cover them. What's your thoughts?
There's absolutely no way you can back the Hornets tonight. They just lost by 50 to the Suns. It's the second night of a back-to-back, and they're playing arguably a better home team in the Jazz, especially in the regular season. So just because I say that, watch the Hornets win straight up. But there's no way. I think the Jazz – are the Jazz coming off a loss? Let me double check here. The Jazz are coming off back-to-back losses. They just lost to Washington at home and San Antonio at home. This is a huge bounce-back, get-right spot for the Jazz. I would not bet Hornets, maybe team total over Jazz, just because the Hornets play zero defense. This is Jazz or nothing for me.
Yeah, it's a tough one for me. See, I mean, when I see that many points, I'm like, all right, I got to take it. And again, we mentioned the Hornets are slowly – getting back to healthy. The only guy listed out in this game is Cody Martin. How about these 2 teams tonight? We get it like a non-COVID game. There's no one out, right, with the Jazz. So it's like
the Hornets were smart about it, man. They got COVID 2 weeks ago. So now they're playing against teams with COVID.
Playing chess, not checkers. All right. Well, I think that it could be a good spot for the Jazz. I agree. I think first half might be the spot there that you take the Jazz coming out. But they're just such a good cover. Like they score so quick, right? They love the 3 ball, so they could fill it up.
Maybe a live spot. Maybe the Hornets come out hot. Who knows?
That could be hot too. Yeah, that could be true too. But I think it's a tough call. But you mentioned AC off back-to-back losses. I am not fading Utah at home. All right, Kings Warriors. We kind of just mentioned the Kings. I think they're hot, right? We know they're still
even a bigger spread.
Yeah, but you got to remember here in this game, the guys who are listed currently out, and this is again currently this could change. De'Aaron Fox, Alex Len, Davion Mitchell, and Richaun Holmes. For the Warriors, though, it's important to note that Jordan Poole and Andrew Wiggins are out. So they're 2 of their big-time guys. Also, Lewis King is listed out for the Kings. But, I mean, what do you think on this game tonight? 12.5, and there's no Wiggins, Poole, obviously still no Clay Wiseman. So it's going to be Steph and company. Do you think they cover this 12.5?
This one's tough. This is one of the dead press specials, right? Maybe some of the props unders, because if it's a blowout, a lot of these guys are not going to play in the fourth.
Mhm.
But maybe Curry's going to get 30 in that first half alone. Who knows? He's definitely going to get the opportunity, right? The usage rate is going to be much higher for him because there's no one playing. So he may attempt 20, 25 shots just in the first half alone, try to blow them out and then rest in the fourth quarter.
Mhm.
As far as the spot for me, man, let me look at the total here. It looks like an under screamer, man. It looks like an under screamer. Started at 222, 223. It's down to 221 and a half. I think it's going to continue to go down. I think that's probably reaction to all the COVID related news, but this could be like a 120 to 95 type of game. So I kind of like the under here. The Kings did come off, second night of back to back. So Warriors more rested and they're at home.
Yeah, I think that as far as that spread goes, it's a tough call. Obviously, the Warriors are the more rested team at home. I just kind of wonder with no Poole and Wiggins, will they be able to cover 12? That's a lot of points to cover,
Yeah.
without your starters. Pretty much your whole starting lineup, what will be their starting lineup.
Like who do you think would be the second leading scorer if Steph is one, who would be two? Because it's not Draymond.
Tonight,
Yeah.
it's not Draymond. I mean, maybe it's a game where you see like Damian Lee step up. You're gonna need
Yeah.
someone,
Or like Toscana Anderson. He
yeah,
has
you're
like
gonna need
six
one of
threes
those
or something.
guys.
Yeah.
Otto Porter's actually had a really good year for them off the bench, so
Good point. Yeah.
it could be one of those guys get it done for them. But it shouldn't be Draymond tonight. We know that. All right, I see final play of the day,
All
and then
right.
maybe we could give some people a little NFL thoughts for tonight because they've been hanging out with us. A lot of people are asking in the comments.
For sure.
NFL games. This is a basketball show, but we are Swiss Army knives, so we can do more than one thing. Clippers laying 4.5 tonight here at home. We were just talking about the Spurs team, AC, coming off of a back-to-back, losing their last game. Talk about injuries, though, with the injury report currently. It has Marcus Morris out, Paul George out, Isaiah Hartenstein out, and Serge Ibaka out. The only guy who's listed day-to-day currently for the Spurs is Doug McDermott. Do you think the Clippers still cover this number tonight at home? It's 4.5.
I don't. So this is probably where the chalk trend bucks for me. I actually like the Spurs tonight. I don't know if it's an official play yet, but it is a strong lean for me. These are two teams moving in opposite directions. In the last 12 games, the Clippers are only 4-8 against the spread, and the Spurs are 8-4. So complete opposite ends of the spectrum. Like I said, the Spurs overs have been hitting. They've been hitting 6 out of the last 7 games. But on the other side, the Clippers don't really score the ball well. So the unders have been hitting for the Clippers, kind of a rock and a hard place there. So that's tough. I lean the Spurs here, man. I actually like the Spurs as a team a lot. I think their 11-18 record doesn't really identify who they are. I think they're a lot better than their record. Maybe it's just bias for me, but I think the Spurs could win outright tonight. What about you?
I'm with you here. And we've talked a lot about the Spurs. I know you and I being on their team total preseason. I believe in this roster, and I believe in Greg Popovich as being one of the best coaches in the NBA ever. So obviously, currently, I think he is. We've said it so many times. There's so many of the same guys that if they could maybe eventually move a couple of those for some size, I think Jakob Poeltl's a good player. I don't know that they have a lot of depth. I think he's more of a good bench guy, right? Coming in off the bench as backup center. But I mean, look, they're a young team to this stage in the season. I think it's kind of what we expected them to be close in some games. They've blown a lot of games late in the game. Just couldn't close, right? So, but that comes with experience.
Why do you think Pop is still coaching?
Just loves
I mean,
the game. It's got to be what it is.
He loves the game. So he's won 5 championships. He's not going to sniff one anytime soon in San Antonio. Mm-hmm. There's no Tim Duncan or David Robinson or Ginobili there to kind of save him, or Kawhi. I do know he's like 20 games away from the all-time wins leader. Maybe he's just trying to get that. It's gonna be close, right? It's gonna be close this year. Like they have to win.
We need him to get it this year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like if he doesn't get it this year, like I can't imagine that he'll come back. But then if he's only like 5 games away, he has to come back. So I mean that's tough. Like I never understood why he's coaching, but it's probably for
For
the
love of the
all-time
game.
wins.
Love of the
Yeah,
game, yeah.
for love of the game. All right.
All right, AC. Well, that concludes our NBA basketball picks for tonight and thoughts. Again, guys, we're recording this currently at 1 o'clock on the East Coast. So please make sure that you're checking injury reports, COVID news, all of that, because I can promise you in between now and then, someone else is going to enter the health and safety protocol. But AC, a lot of people in the comments have been asking all the episode for some of our Monday Night Football thoughts.
Yep.
Special deal we get here because we get 2 games tonight. Raiders, Browns, and then the scheduled Vikings, Bears, right?
Yep.
So give me your thoughts on this Raiders and Browns game, if you could.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I think it's going to be a sharp NFL night, or I hope it is. Raiders, Browns, there's been so much news regarding, the quarterback situation there, from Baker to Case to then maybe Nick Chubb is starting to now is Nick Mullins. I think that's been kind of reported and confirmed, unless he gets COVID later today. Who knows? But Mullins is starting, going against Derek Carr. It's going to be in Cleveland, so potential weather. Let me see here. Weather's actually not too bad today. It would have been bad on Saturday if they had played. But I still lean the home team here. I still think they have the best player in the game, who's Nick Chubb. And then they have Miles, who's the best defensive player in the game. So the 2 best players, if I were to start a team between these 2, would be coming from the Browns. I'm going to ride with that. I think they have more talent. I think for the Raiders, their season's kind of over. They're looking towards the end. Started off so hot, then some off the field issues with their coaching and their wide receiver there. So I just think they want the season to end. The Browns are still playing for something. They're more hungry and desperate. So give me the Browns tonight.
AC, also crazy thing here is Browns win. There's a 3-way tie that they're in first place in their division. So
yeah,
I mean, I think a lot of people, including myself, because I'm on the Browns team total under and wins, which was 10.5 preseason. So if they lose tonight, that'll cash because obviously they can't get there. But I'm on the Browns tonight as far as the side goes. I do think that they cover. I think they win it outright.
yeah.
A lot of reasons you mentioned too. I think they still have the best players on the field. And I think Nick Chubb can still get it done. I mean, I know that their line, that they've had issues with, but it's a guy who is going to be the most talented player on the field. Also, a prop I want to throw out there: Chubb anytime touchdown is looking really good. You can get it at
plus money, right?
Yeah. So the thought could be, hey, maybe they're going to throw a night out like the Bucs last night, where just no one scores because of Nick Mullins. I don't think that's the case. Look, Nick Mullins. It'll remind you, though, when he was on the Niners, it was against these Raiders that everyone's like, who the hell's Nick Mullins? And then he stuck it to them. So maybe he has something that he can get it done against the Raiders tonight. All right, AC, our final thoughts before we close it up here. If you have any on this Bears-Vikings game, you and I were always contrarian with these games. I like the Bears tonight all the way up to 6.5. This thing opened at like 3.5, 4.5. What's your thoughts on this? You think they cover?
I'm with you, man. I definitely lean Chicago. Even though they lost last week, Chicago actually showed me a ton. I was on their team total points under, and they scored 30 against a really good Packers team. So I think most of that in the first half, obviously, but I think their offense is good. I think maybe they're opening the playbook for Justin Fields, right? They need to do some real player evaluation there. And if they're just going to play vanilla coaching there, they're not going to get a good analysis or a good scouting report of Justin Fields. So hopefully they open it up, allow him to run, allow him to throw it deep. Minnesota, you and I have been on this team a lot this year. I think they are the best 6-7 team in the league, but we've been saying that literally since day one. Like, you are what you are. You are what your record are. They're 6-7. They're not, 10-3 or by any means. So I think Chicago gets it done today. I don't know if they win. But I definitely would lean the Chicago side, maybe even tease them if you're into teasers. I don't recommend teasers in any sport, but if you want to do teasers, I would probably tease the dog here in the Bears.
Yeah, see, I'm with you here. I mean, I think it's just too big of a number. So I think the Bears, and hey, I'm going to throw it out there that the Bears could win this outright. Kirk Cousins in primetime, we know he is a beautiful fade. And the Vikings, like we said so many times, they just like to play close. So give me the Bears. But that'll wrap it up, guys. We wanted to give you guys a little bit of a bonus for everyone. Remember, if you retweet this video at the end of the day, 7 stacks, going to send 10 people $10. It's Christmas time, right? That could go a long way. We want to continue to give back. We want to thank everyone over there at 7 Stack Sports. Give them a follow on Twitter, guys, at 7 Stack Sports. Make sure you guys are looking out for a lot of promotions. AC and I will tweet out. We do a ton of collab giveaways, $100, $200. I know we're doing a ton this week for Christmas.
For sure, man.
So we'll get to it. But AC, always a pleasure, man. And thank you to 7 Stacks. We will be back on Wednesday for another edition of 2 in the Zone. Take care, guys. Good luck tonight.
Kill those bets, guys.